We're here with Scott Church from Digidesign, and Scott's going to talk a little bit about a .com that he's got called ProToolsblog.com. It's really great. You ought to check into it. Tell us a little bit about it, Scott.
All right, Tony. Well, the reason I started the ProToolsblog.com was when I first got to Digidesign, it was 2 years ago, I was just an end user. I was so excited to get in and to make these products. And I think one of the things that people don't get to see from a big company like Digi is what it's like to make those products, why we do it, who are the people making it. So I really just wanted to kind of be open-handed and say, here's why we're doing this stuff, here's kind of the cool stuff we're doing. And I have to tell you, I haven't really been allowed to talk until AES came around, and I've been dying to tell everybody about it. So if you go to the blog, like on day one, I said, all right, guys, I'm free to spill the beans, and so I put up the first video on the new UI. So that's really why I did the Pro Tools blog. What's kind of happened as a surprise is this connection to end users. I was already out there. I do a lot of teaching on the weekends. We do tons of customer visits, but it's still kind of, you're trapped in this location, or you come to these shows and you just talk to the people that you already know, what you already meet. And just to go up on the blog and say, okay, this AES, if you know me, you can't meet me. Sorry, guys, we'll have lunch or we'll have dinner. But if you don't know me, this is your chance. Let's get together. And what I've really loved is just, the end users want Pro Tools to be successful. They want to know us. They want to be there. And so I think kind of the hidden gem of it was just the relationships that are starting to evolve. So I love doing it. It's on my own free time, which makes it hard. It's not a Digi thing. Of course, they're pretty nice now and liberal, and they let me talk about a lot more things. But it really is something I do just because I really care, and I use the app, and I just want to kind of show people all the cool tricks. So what's exciting about AES, of course, is Pro Tools 8. So that's my baby, and that's the one I started, like I say, 2 years ago when I got here. And I did product manager for several of the new major features. So it would be nice, huh, if the product manager could figure out how to stop playback in Pro Tools. There you go. Tony, you're there for me. I love this. I love this. Tech breakfast, man. So I think the most exciting thing is the new user interface. And so already on some of the forums I've read, they're copying Nuendo, they're copying Logic. Certainly I love those applications, and I'm certainly familiar with them. But literally this was started even before I got here. David Willenbrink and Manny Ohata are our graphic artists, and believe it or not, this is about a 3-year project. And one of the reasons it took so long is before Pro Tools, the UI and the functionality were all kind of integrated and woven in and out. What we did is we took the time to separate the graphics from the functionality. And so what's cool about that is we've given you some customization right now, so like you can reorder stuff on the toolbar, you can show and hide things, but we've really made it so when we come back to do these follow-ups, we're going to be able to do a lot more. So in terms of making it your Pro Tools, totally on our radar, but I love the look. My favorite thing is I spend a lot of time looking at Pro Tools, and this dude's got it cranked up really bright here, so him and I are not simpatico. So if we go to the color palette, what I love to do, I like to take this brightness. For me, I just love that dark look, the contrast, everything just pops. There's a real focus on my content. So just looking at it for 4, 6, 8, 12 hours a day, oh my God, is it so much easier on the eyes. So that's one of the things I'm really happy with. The other thing is the MIDI editor. So many people, they just want to come to Pro Tools, they want to double click and they want to have a MIDI editor. And we have a docked one here. If you right click, you can bring up an individual window. And what was really challenging with the MIDI editor is you go to the music creation guys and they're like, gotta have that third window, man. Gotta have that third window. Then you go and you got half the other world saying, man, I only like the edit window and the mix window. It's 2 windows, don't ruin it. And so what was really a challenge here was making sure that everything you could do in this new edit window, whether in the dock or as a separate window, that you could do that in the main edit window. So for the guys who don't add that third window, the solution is don't open it. You can do all the same stuff in the edit window. I promise I didn't ruin your Pro Tools. The other thing we did is, of course, we own Sibelius, and although they're halfway across the pond, we convinced them to say, hey, let's work together and let's get notation into Pro Tools. So I'm going to go over here and get the transport out of the way. And here's our docked MIDI editor. I'm just going to go ahead and click this notation button, and you see right there, we got some little graphic fun there. We got the Sibelius engine inside of Pro Tools. And what was the hard part about this? Well, where do you stop with Sibelius, right? They can do everything under the sun. And what we did is we went out and talked to end users and say, what's the most important thing for notation in your DAW? And the number one thing we got back, believe it or not, was don't make it intimidating. I just want it to be easy and simple. So basically, we spent a lot of time making sure that we just had a simple tool palette, all the regular Pro Tools commands in terms of pencils, grabbers, selectors, they all work the way you think they would. And we actually pulled it off. There's only 2 dialog boxes that deal with notation. So it's all real time. You see something, you want to change it, you double click it. And the last thing that I worked on was track comping. This was the hardest one. In Pro Tools, everybody records different. Some people cycle record. Some people like me are really organized and they have a new playlist for every take. And there's completely unorganized people and they just record over the track, blow over regions. In a lot of other applications, if you don't cycle record, you really aren't able to comp. And we wanted it to really not make it so you had to change to us in terms of comping. So with our comping mechanism, it doesn't matter how you record. Basically, you just go to a track, you flip yourself into playlist view, find the bits you like, and you promote it up. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Pro Tools 8. Of course, there's the all-new Air instruments. And I'll tell you, what I'll say about those Air instruments, it's personality. It's not quantity, people, it's quality. And when you check out our Hammond and our convolution, our Leslie emulator is awesome. So what I'm just loving is that out-of-box thing now. You got all the new UI, all the new features, all the new instruments. We got like 8.5 gigs of content from Big Fish Audio. It really is a compelling package now. And finally, Pro Tools LE out of the box is not 32 tracks, it's 48. And the music production toolkit is now 64 tracks instead of 48. And we've even got that complete production toolkit. So all those guys who want to do surround in Pro Tools LE, it's there. So I feel like we're just coming to the show with the brand new Pro Tools, and to be a part of it was really special. So I'm really glad I can share that.
Do you want to talk a little bit about ADC?
Delay comp, right. It's been up on the forums. I see it. I'm up there reading it. A little piece of me dies every time I see a negative comment up there, I'm going to tell you. But I'll be strong.
Just address it a little bit if you want.
No, I definitely do. I mean, it's nothing we're even really hiding. I think we're trying to be really open-handed about a lot of the things we'd like to get to. The fact of the matter is, ADC is a feature just like any other feature, and the fact that we have it in HD, it doesn't help us in Pro Tools LE. It's a unique thing. It has to be rewritten or actually written specifically for the host. So it's on our radar. I know we'll get to it, but it's really the trade-off. Would we rather had ADC and no score editor, no MIDI editor? That's what we're kind of confronted with, and I'll tell you, as a product manager, before, I didn't get that, right? I'm like, it's Digi. They should be able to do anything. Why aren't they giving this to me? And when I came in, I think the first reality I was hit with is, dude, you have a certain amount of programmers. You got a certain amount of time to get features done. And I think the most painful part of my job is sitting down at that list and prioritizing it and say, what are we going to do next? But we hear you guys. ADC is so important. I want ADC and LE for when I'm out on the road with my laptop. So we're going to get there. And it's really the same kind of thing with freeze and bouncing. Those are all things that we're really working towards. And Pro Tools has some different challenges because HD is a real-time system. All the benefits you get of that no latency thing, well, with that comes some things that some of the other guys don't have to deal with it. But we got a lot of smart developers in Daly City, and you know what, Tony? We'll lick it.
All right, Scott. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
thank
man.
you.
That was a blast.